Good day. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm about to head out the door, but I wanted to stop in for a quick moment and give you an update on something that a lot of you have been following. A lot of you care about this issue. It has to do with this lady named Brittney Griner. And in case you don't know, Brittney Griner has been stuck in a Russian prison for quite a while now. Brittney is a person that got caught up in a situation, I guess, where she had some drug paraphernalia on her or something like that. Something has to do with some hashish oil or weed or whatever it was. I don't know what it was. But either way, a lot of you know that she has been locked up for a while. And so anyway, first of all, I want to ask everybody, if you get started, please hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, share, subscribe. And also make sure that you hit the notification bell on the channel. It really helps us out a lot. We're building independent Black-owned media. So we hope that you will support independent Black-owned media. And also, just as a side note, last night at 3 a.m., my wife and I did a thorough review of that movie, The Woman King. We decided to go see it after the recommendation of my very good friend, respected colleague, Anthony Browder. And Alicia gave some honest reflection. I gave some honest reflection. So feel free to take a look at the review on drboycetv.com if you're thinking about seeing the movie. Now, hello, everybody, Travis and Khaled and Deborah and Lori, etc. Let me give you the update on Brittney Griner. And I'm going to give you a foreshadow and let you know that I think Brittney's coming home. I think she's going to come home soon. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. So here are 3 reasons why I believe Brittney Griner is coming home. Number one, I just saw a story that said that the Biden administration is doing something that I was wondering why they hadn't done this sooner. I was wondering, I don't know if anybody else noticed, but I noticed that Brittney wasn't really in the news the last few weeks. And I was wondering, I wonder how she feels, with no one talking about her situation anymore. She's still in that Russian prison and nobody seems to care. Well, Joe Biden, the Biden administration just announced that the president met with Brittney Griner's family. Now, here's the thing. I'm willing to bet you that they've been asking for a meeting ever since Brittney got locked up. I mean, how many of y'all agree with that? I'm willing to bet you that from the time she got locked up, her family's been calling for a meeting. She's been calling for a meeting. Her lawyer's been calling for a meeting. Her WNBA's calling her for a meeting, calling for a meeting. Everyone else is calling for a meeting. So it was very interesting to me that the meeting happened now. But when you think about it, it makes perfect sense because you have elections coming up. And one of the things that they love to do is give you these big election surprises that can kind of push things forward or push things backward for the other party. Like, so for example, I think I remember Hillary Clinton was really upset with the director of the CIA, if I'm not mistaken, because he released information about her emails or something right before the election. And she was like, why did you have to issue this election surprise? You could have waited till after I got elected and then talked about it later. So there is a strategy here. There is a process here. The goal is to get Black votes. Black people love Democrats for whatever reason. I don't love Democrats. I don't love Republicans. I'm just going to tell y'all the truth. But some of y'all do, and I don't hate you for it. It just is what it is. I don't believe the Democrats are going to save Black people. We're going to save Black people. So Biden met with the family, which to me says that they're taking action. They're sending signals, in my opinion, to the family and to the public that they're making moves. The elections are coming. I think that they're going to get more aggressive as the elections come up because you're negotiating with a deadline. And Vladimir Putin knows that there is a deadline. And let me tell you why I know that Vladimir and his team know that there's a deadline and why they're playing hardball. Well, the other thing that lets me know that that Brittney's coming home is that they did actually make an offer. I don't know how many of y'all know that. How many of y'all know that they did make an offer to bring Brittney home? The U.S. basically said we will do a 1-for-2 exchange. We will send you, there was an arms dealer. I don't remember the guy's name. It doesn't matter. But there's an arms dealer from Russia that's in U.S. prison. And they said, we'll send him. That's one guy. He's a very dangerous guy. He's been in there for probably 15, 20 years. And if you bring home 2 of ours, you bring home Brittney and there's another person. Don't know his name either. It doesn't matter. We're talking about Brittney. We're talking about this issue. So honestly, forgive me for just getting to the point. So they've already made an offer. That's another piece of evidence that tells me that they're serious. And then the United Nations is actually going to get involved. There's some people actually believe the United Nations General Secretary is going to go and try to get Brittney out of jail. Now, here's where I kind of, honestly, I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you the truth. I get off the bus a little bit because I don't really necessarily relate to the alleged diplomatic importance of Brittney Griner getting out of jail. When remember, you got probably about 80,000 Black people right now who are in U.S. prisons, not Russian prisons, U.S. prisons for minor drug offenses. In fact, how many of y'all have a relative who's been locked up on a dope charge or is locked up right now or is doing time right now. I don't know how many of y'all got somebody in jail in your family that should have got out a long time ago, a friend, whatever. I don't know about y'all, but I just talked to a homie who got out of jail after 30 years. My father went to prison on a dope situation. My biological father, not my father that raised me. My baby brother, he had to deal with some stuff, right? So here's the deal. I'm not real. I get off the bus with those who feel that somehow getting Brittney Griner out of jail is the most important thing that we can do for Black people right now. I honestly hope you'll consider the fact that maybe you're a little misguided. And the reason that you care about Brittney is because she's famous. Let's just be clear. There are many, many unfamous people out here who are locked up right now that you care nothing about. So don't tell me it's because you care. You've been trained to care. Understand, media trains you to care about. So just like Hollywood creates narratives and they teach you how to care about the characters. This emotional manipulation. They prepare you to care. They're like, okay, we're gonna make the person cry. Then when they get killed, the other person's gonna pick them up and go, oh my God, you died, and you're gonna be like, oh God, I'm so sad. And all this is made up. These are not real people, right? So ultimately, I'm not saying that Brittney isn't important. I'm not saying Brittney doesn't deserve to come home. I'm not saying any of that. I'm not saying keep her locked up. I mean, if she was my child, I'd probably be like, what the hell were you doing? You don't go to a country during wartime and break their laws. I don't care I wouldn't be up in Russia trying to jaywalk. I've been to China. I've been to Russia. I've been to all them places. And let me just keep it 100. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm always like, what are the laws and how do I obey them? I would never, ever would think as a Black man, especially, that I'm somehow above the law or that Joe Biden would ever come like Superman and swoop my Black ass out of a Russian jail. I don't know. So Brittney's lucky in that regard, and it is what it is. Whatever. The third thing that tells me that Brittney's probably coming home, in my opinion, is that the Russians made a counter offer. They actually came back with a counter offer. They said, we no like your 1-for-2 exchange, but we will do a 2-for-2. It was something like that, right? So they basically said, look, give us 2 people instead of 1 or maybe 3. I don't know if they asked for 2 or 3. And then it's done. It's a done deal. We'll sign the paperwork. Here's the paperwork right here. You can sign right here on the dotted line. She's coming home. She'll be on the next flight back to the U.S. because we don't want her anyway, right? So the fact that the Russians made a counteroffer means that the door's open. The door's open. They just got so the ball is back in Biden's court. Biden has the unilateral power, from what I understand, to bring Brittney Griner home right now. Right. So when they say we're doing our best, we're really trying, we don't know to, no, you ain't doing the best you can do. You're doing the best that you're willing to do. That's what I see. It's like somebody saying, well, I can't sell you the car for $28,000, but I can sell it to you for $29,200. And you got the money in your bank account. You're like, I can't do that. I can't do that. Well, that's not really true. It's not like you can't do it. You just don't want to do it. Right. So right now, that's where they are. Now, is that bad? No, I don't think it's bad negotiation at all. I mean, maybe it's a crazy trade anyway. In fact, think about it. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. Like this guy that they're letting out, this Russian guy who the arms dealer, he's very dangerous. He's gonna hurt some people, right? So maybe this whole negotiation doesn't make sense. But what I really think is occurring is they're just playing like a waiting game. I think that they are going to sit back, sit on the offer, think about it. And then come back with a counter offer that the Russians will accept. And guess what? It'll be just in time for the election. And then they're going to go and parade Brittney in front of all the Black people. Look what we did for y'all Negroes. Y'all need to vote for us now because we brought home your favorite Black person. Whatever. All right, so here's the deal. All right, here's a couple things. A couple points with Brittney. I'm really neutral on this, to be honest with you. I'm not a person who says she should come home or shouldn't. I'm a person, honestly, I probably offend some of you because I'm the guy who just doesn't give a shit, honestly. It's not that I don't care. It's that we got bigger fish to fry. I know homies right here in the U.S. right now who are locked up in Biden's prisons that Biden sent away who still ain't came back. I know I'm talking about people they got locked up in 98, right? That I would, if I have a choice between bringing home somebody who got locked up a year ago versus bringing home somebody who got locked up 28 years ago and their daughter and hasn't seen them since she was a 1-year-old, I'd rather bring home that guy or that woman or that person because they've kind of done their time, right? So I'm just that's where I am. I don't know if that offends you, but again, I would say that I care. I just don't care. I'm here to tell you the truth. But one thing I'll say in Brittney's favor is if Brittney's name had been LeBron, she would have been home months ago, right? So there is a little bit of that bias. Some would say it's a gender bias. It could be, or it could be just a fame bias. I think that if she were a more famous man, she probably would have been brought home a long time ago. But again, I think that we have a huge bias, particularly in our community, where we somehow connect to the feelings of celebrities at a level that is probably not healthy for us. I think that we care a little bit too much about celebrities to the point that we care more about celebrities than we care about each other. I don't give a shit about celebrities. I care about you. I don't look up to celebrities. I look up to you. I look up to when I meet you on the street. Seriously. I mean, the convention's coming up and I get a chance to shake a lot of your hands. I meet the husbands who are raising their kids. I meet the mothers who are homeschooling their children and making them brilliant. I meet the business owners who have started these businesses with nothing and turned it into $1 million entity. I'm meeting the people that want to be intelligent and black, the ones who ain't scared of white folks, the ones that are building the future. I put you on a pedestal that's far above any pedestal I'll put a celebrity on, because when I see celebrities, I'm like, okay, you're famous because white people put you on TV. And that makes anybody famous. You can put Honey Boo Boo on TV and she becomes famous because somebody put her on TV. So half of your celebrities, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to talk about Brittney now. This is me in a little rant. I hope you can allow me to have this for one moment. But in my little rant, I just want to say that you got to understand that most of your celebrities, the people you look up to, it's all manufactured. It's all created. It's like, okay, we want black people to look up to this person. We want black people to believe this thing and whatever. And that's what they do. And they'll put that in front of you. And then at the same time, they're simultaneously hiding the intelligent black men and women in the community that really want what's best for you. Like I just saw this thing today. I was scooping through. I follow a lot of channels, and I was looking at the Shade Room. The Shade Room, I have no idea how they amassed such a massive platform. I'll be curious to know who's really funding all that. Like, where's all that money really coming from? But anyway, the Shade Room, they have a lot of entertaining stories. Most of their stories feature ignorant ass black people. Most of their stories. I saw a story today, I kid you not, where a rapper named Blueface got into a fight with August Alsina, the kid who slept with Jada Pinkett, back in the day. And they put this post up, and it's like broken English, like you rolling up with all these niggas, cause you got all this security, nigga. Come over here, foot me, nigga. Blah, blah, blah. And I said, this, ladies and gentlemen, is how the world views black men in America who are over the age of 30. These men are 30 damn years old. A 30-year-old man is supposed to be a grown-ass man. He's not supposed to be running around like a damn little kid. It was Tory Lanez. I said Tory Lanez. I said Blueface. I'm sorry. Blueface was the other idiot that they had on. But the thing about it is that, and I'm not dogging these guys for being who they are, but what I'm saying is that it is fascinating to me that I can learn more about a rapper who can't even spell his mama's name and who's so high that he doesn't know what's going on than I can learn about the smart people in the community, the ones who are really trying to do the right thing, the ones who are really trying to help us out of this mess. And so all your attention gets sucked up by people that don't care nothing about you, ain't doing nothing good for you, ain't doing nothing but adding trauma to the community and complete chaos. Those people need to be in a mental health facility where they belong so that the real men and women can be leading this community. And white folks are doing this to you. Hollywood is doing this to you. They do this to you. They don't do this to white people. There's no white version of a Cardi B. There's not a white Lizzo. There's not a white Blueface. There's not a white Tory Lanez. They don't market their idiots the way they market your idiots. And then you turn around and you wonder why we got so many damn idiots running around in the community, don't know, run about their heads twisted on backward. It's because the real intelligent black people, the ones who are really trying to do good things and do the right things and make themselves better, overcome generational curses and all these other things, are being ignored. You're being swept to the side because you are the real threat in this country. You are the real threat. When you stand up and you're a black man and you want to really be a man, well, then that right there is going to wipe you off the slate. You are such a threat that you're never going to get the opportunities that you would get if you were gay, if you were a comedian, or if you were some sort of wannabe thug, or if you were self-destructive. You'll never get those same opportunities. So if you are a healthy, intelligent black man, you better learn how to create your own opportunities, because if you cannot, then you will have nothing. The white folk ain't gonna give you nothing, and I wouldn't give them nothing if I was them either. The reason I wouldn't give you nothing is because you are the ones who are producing the next generation. You are the ones who are teaching the children to be intelligent. You're the ones who are actually making good choices. You're the ones who are conscious, aware, and alert. You are the fighting age men and women that they fear. You are the ones that, if you read Dr. Claude Anderson's books and you go back and you look at some of the things he talks about in Black Labor, White Wealth, has always been in America a systematic effort to elevate the dumb Black people over Black people who are actually smart and strategic and capable of overcoming racism. That's why, as a community, when you see, every time, watch this, pay attention in the elections. Every time there's a presidential election, the presidential candidate will always do an interview with some idiot rapper and will completely ignore Black people who are scholars, thinkers, attorneys, and political scientists. Pay attention. Why in the frock? I'm not going to cuss today because this is Sunday. Why would Joe Biden be doing an interview with Lil Baby or Cardi B when he could be talking to Black political scientists who understand the depths and the complexities of all the problems that plague Black America and the solutions that need to be implemented? Why would you go talk to Lil Baby? In fact, why would there be a grown-ass man that wants to be called Lil Baby anyway? Oh, that's right, because they love you because you're not a threat. They like that idea. Think about this. Look at how many rappers you got, Lil this and Lil that, Baby this and Baby that. What community has thousands of men that want to be little babies? Like what is that? Is that what is really happening here? So you are pretty much having your grown men swiped away. That's why you poor Black women, you out here, you 30 years old trying to marry a grown ass man, and you're trying to date a guy who wants to imitate a rapper called Lil Baby. You can't run a household if you're a little baby. We got babies in our household. Our 12-year-old, she's the little baby. She can't run the household. I'm a grown man. I can do that, right? So which I think you have to kind of look at. So I think that what bothers me about the Brittney Griner thing, let's circle back to that before I just go off on all these crazy tangents. The thing that bothers me about the Brittney Griner thing is that the reason you're paying so much attention to her is because she's a big, tall basketball player. And this interesting thing about this world is that you are in a community where your big, tall basketball players get much more attention than regular people that are really doing good things for the community. Or you have a world where Black men and women who are comedians telling jokes get more respect than those of you who are actually going to school and actually learning something. You have a community where a rapper can literally, a Black rapper can make a song called Die Nigga Die, and he can literally in every lyric of the song talk about killing Black people. But if he were to replace the N-word, like I'm gonna kill that N-word, and he were to replace that word, Jay Morrison made this point when he came on the podcast this week. If they were to replace the N-word with any other degrading term used to describe any other ethnicity, that song will be immediately taken off the radio. Do you get what I'm saying? Do you understand? Do you agree with that point? Do you agree that if I made a song about killing Jewish people, do you think that will be taken off the radio? If I made a song about killing white women, if I made a song about killing Asian people, or LGBT, do you think that song will be taken off the radio? Then if that's the case, then why is it that I can make a song about killing Black people all day? I could be like, I shoot Negroes for fun on the weekends, and it would literally become a #1 hit, and there would be white people dancing along to that song. You live in a sick world. You live in a very sick, backward, ignorant world. So when you live in a backward, sick, ignorant world, why are you surprised when sick, backward, ignorant shit happens? Well, because that's the world you're co-signing on. So I'm just encouraging you. You ain't crazy. I really like talking on, I like talking online. I talk online because I like reaching out and sending smoke signals to all the other people that are a little weird like me, that don't quite fit in like me, who and just help you understand. It's not that there's something wrong with you. Your Black woman it's not that there's something wrong with you because you can't twerk. You ain't supposed to be twerking on a Tuesday just because it's Tuesday. You ain't supposed to be wearing a thong to a Lakers game. You're not supposed to show your booty on Instagram. Or Black men. You have Black men literally who are embarrassed that they're going to college studying electrical engineering because somebody told them that was lame, or that you were acting white, or that you were a square or whatever. But no, you're not supposed to behave like men like Future and some of these rappers. These men are going to die an early and painful death. These men are drug addicts. These men are throwing their money away. These men are destroying their children. These men, when they talk about toxic masculinity, that's the toxicity that's making you look bad. Half y'all mad because you got women thinking Black men are all toxic because they running up behind these dumbass rappers who are really toxic people. Well, I'm the same way. I'm like, why would you date a toxic man like that? Oh, well, because he's famous and he got money. White people put him on TV. I get it. you think that somehow acceptance by white people is equivalent to being a successful black person. That's why you clap every time a black person wins an Oscar. You clap every time a black person wins a Grammy. You clap every time a black person gets on the radio. You clap every time a black person gets in the movie. And you don't even think a second about who made the damn movie, who picked the damn award, who decided who was going to be on the radio, who owns those radio stations that's pumping out this music. So I encourage you, if you really want to understand how America works and you want to understand how to overcome all of this, you got to grow a critical eye, and you have to gain the self-esteem to understand that I don't need your acknowledgement for me to be successful. I don't really need, and let me just give you an example. When I called out the fact that record labels have unfortunately taken this beautiful, talented black woman called Lizzo and turned her into a walking clown in a minstrel show, and had her embarrassing black women all over the world by going to Lakers games in a goddamn thong in front of children. Like, think about this. Imagine if I went to a Lakers game in a thong and there were children sitting next to me and I was twerking my junk in front of kids. That's weird. That's child molestation type stuff. So I remember when I called that out, and I said also that the reason that people are cheering on black women becoming obese is because we have an obesity epidemic in America. It's killing hundreds of thousands of black people, and it's a problem. When that happened, the white media went crazy. They got mad because they said, wait a minute, you're attacking one of our Negroes. We own this Negro. She's our favorite celebrated Negro, and we're mad at you because you are one of those toxic black men. I said, what's toxic about what I said? I said, debate me, have an interview with me. How about you sit down and if you want to, I'll be willing to talk to you and explain to you every single word about you. I can show you the statistics on how many black people are dying from obesity and heart disease and everything else. I can tell you the history of minstrel shows. I can tell you specifically, my wife can do a better job than me and explain to you how, unfortunately, Lizzo has been paid by record labels to fulfill the Mammy Jezebel stereotype that white people love. White people love to see a black person act like a clown. They like that. That's fun for them. That's why they cheer you on and say, you go, girl, even though not one of their daughters is famous for doing the same damn shit. Why is it that it's got to be our daughters out here acting a damn fool, but it ain't no white. There's no point to me. Show me the white Lizzo. There is no white Lizzo. So the reason that and the thing is, I wasn't even offended when all the white media, I'm telling you, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of media outlets wrote about me as the toxic, sexist. They like to slap labels on you. So one of the ways I defend myself is I don't accept your labels. You can't label me. I'm not a cow. I'm not cattle. This is not slavery. Your labels don't have any power in here. It does not matter what you think. And so when that occurred, I remember I said, it's interesting that they'll talk all day about me, but not one of them will come talk to me. And I understand exactly why. It's because an intelligent black man is a threat they do not know how to handle. They do not know how. That's why they couldn't handle Malcolm X. They wouldn't debate Malcolm. That's why they wouldn't handle Farrakhan. When Farrakhan went on TV and they tried to debate him, Farrakhan ate them up, chewed them up, and spit them out expeditiously. So at the end of the day, I remember when I saw that, and I'm gonna tell you, just to give you the truth, the reason that none of it affected me at all. I'm telling you, I had a speaking engagement actually in Birmingham, Alabama. It was a $10,000 speaking engagement. These things pay pretty well. And they canceled it. The black people running the group canceled it, and they had to because they had white corporate sponsors who said, oh, you're bringing this sexist guy in. And they were like, well, why is he sexist? Well, because he said that what Lizzo's doing is inappropriate. There ain't nothing sexist about that. I said, look, I'm doing this for black women. Why would that be sexist? I'm getting messages every day from black women saying, thank you for speaking up for us. So how is that sexist? But it didn't matter, right? It didn't matter at all. It's par for the course. So what I believe is that here's my thing. I believe that if you are a black person and white people like you too much, that probably means you're doing something wrong. That means, to me, if they have elevated you to the highest height of heights, chances are you're not really fighting the system, because the system does not reward people who fight it. The system only rewards people who fit into it. So ultimately, when that whole Lizzo thing kind of happened, it didn't affect me at all. I didn't really care. I just had to go and explain to black people I love who were like, what? I heard you're a sexist. I'm like, well, you know me. What kind of sexist am I? What do you, please explain this to me. And it didn't bother me because a long time ago, I gave up the need to look for their validation to feel like I was a worthy human being who had something to say. I don't need them to come along and say, oh, boys, you get the Negro of the Year award. I would probably be a little nervous if they started giving me awards and started wanting to be my friend, because I don't think they're ready. I think that America is built on a little too much racism. It's got a little too much racism in its blood. They've typecast the entire black community. They position you. There are certain spaces where you as a black person are allowed to go wherever you want to go. If you're an athlete, you can do whatever you want. If you're a rapper, you can do whatever you want. If you're a twerking ass female singer, whatever, who's talking about your vagina and every other lyric, you can do whatever you want. You'll get an interview with the president. There's no other group. You show me any other group of people that is put in that same category. You show up as an engineer, they don't care about you. You show up as a lawyer, they're not interested. You show up as a black man who's learning things, or a black woman who's actually trying to do things in a decent and respectable way, they're not interested. You show up as a singer who says, look, I don't need to show my ass in order to break a tune, they're not interested in that. So I think you got to be really careful about that. I'm speaking on this because I don't see a lot of people really talking about this. And I really think in general, as a general rule, you've got to start having a more critical eye when you look at your celebrities. A lot of times we will follow along with a celebrity because we have been falsely led to believe that having white folks acknowledge you, put you on TV, give you awards, and give you fancy titles, or give you lots of money makes you a successful black person, when in fact, all that money you receive. Now, remember, I'm talking as an expert on money. My PhD is in money. So I understand what money does, good and bad. I understand the power of money, but also money is a drug. And so what occurs is that because you need money and you don't have economic independence, you haven't learned financial security, you don't know how to be economically sovereign, you are begging for money from the very people who will trick your ass out, treat you like the biggest hoe on every block in North America in order for you to get a nickel or to get a dollar. And Hollywood is the number one culprit of this. That's why I encourage you to be very careful about selling your children to these people that are only going to ruin their soul. Do you understand? I knew a kid who went on a tour. He went on a singing. He was a singer. He was real good in church. And he was singing in church, and they discovered him. His family's all happy because he got discovered, it was kind of, typical kind of thing. And he goes on tour with this famous singing group. And do you know what happened on that tour? They got him addicted to cocaine at the age of 15. Literally. Again, nobody scrutinizes their behavior because they're rich and famous and they can do no wrong. And we think that rich and famous people are wonderful no matter what. We don't look at the quality of their character. We don't look at their soul. We don't look at what they're doing for the community. We just say, oh my God, his album was so good. He's so famous. Look at that house. Look at that car, dog. Look at that whip. Oh, you look at that whip, yo. Right? Well, he ended up getting hooked on cocaine at the age of 15, just like DMX. And 30 years later, this kid was robbing liquor stores. He wasn't a kid no more. He was almost a grandfather now, disappointed his own children, abandoned his family, done all kinds of horrible things that drug addicts do. And he's robbing liquor stores to get money to buy more cocaine. And to me, it says that sometimes the things that glitter are not gold. Some of the things sometimes your dream is not a dream, it's really a nightmare. And so ultimately, you got to figure out where your soul lies and what really matters to you. And the reason I think that economic intelligence and financial literacy and all that stuff that I talk about on this channel a lot is very important is because if you have your own money, you don't have to pimp yourself out and pimp out your children in order to get a dollar. If you have your own money, you ain't got to go bow to that man for nothing. The number one reason I didn't fold or buckle when that dumb Lizzo controversy happened was because I got my own money. I got independent wealth. I know how to make money. I know more about money. I've forgotten more about money than 99% of these people will ever learn in their entire life. I had a PhD 20 years ago. And even then I was at an astronomically high level of understanding. I taught college students finance when I was 22 years old. So the fact that I understand how money works and where the money's at and how to go get it means I'm not folding for your damn money. I don't care. So when they called and they told me that the speaking engagement was canceled, it was like, oh yeah, okay, well, $10,000, I could have used that money. That would have been great, but I don't care. You're the one who's wrong. History's judging you wrong. You're only doing this because your white benefactors that you beg for money for don't think it's appropriate for a black man to speak up on behalf of the black community. But you know as well as I do, Negro. That's what I wanted to say. I wanted to say to the organizers. I said, I came to speak for y'all last year. It was the A.G. Gaston conference. That's what it was called in Birmingham, Alabama. I said, I came and spoke for y'all last year. And all of you really benefited from what I shared with you. You and I were on the same page, but you're doing this because you don't understand how to make your own money, and these white folks are controlling you like Pinocchio. So they're telling you they're doing exactly what they tend to do, this divide and conquer nonsense. They do it every election. They do it in general to us as Black people. They're creating a divide between us that is unnecessary. And the divide only exists because you don't know how to be economically independent enough to stand up for what you believe in. So instead of standing up for what you believe in, you're standing up for what your benefactors believe in. And what they believe in is they believe in this nonsense that's being promoted to our children that is destroying our kids. Ain't nobody in this room. I'm gonna just say it right now. If you are, how many of you? Let's just. I'm not picking on. I'm not picking on Lizzo. I'm really talking about the record labels that control her. I think she's a great singer. I'd love to see her get out there and sing like Patti LaBelle or whomever. Without Patti LaBelle ain't gonna be showing up to a Lakers game in a thong. So let's just be clear that this is not about her. This is about sort of the whole backdrop of this. But how many of y'all, give me a yes or no, how many of y'all would want your daughter to grow up and be like Lizzo? How many of y'all, give me a yes or no, how many of you would look at your little girl and be like, damn, I would be so proud to see you go on the Jimmy Kimmel show and twerk while you play the flute. Like play the flute while you're twerking in front of a white man's face. I would be so proud to turn on the internet one day and see my daughter as a grown-ass woman at a Lakers game in a thong in front of little children. How many of y'all would love to see your daughters become Lizzo? Or how many of y'all would like to see your daughters end up like some of these rappers, like the rapper Future with 18 babies, mamas, and whatever, or however many he's got? Like, how many, seriously, promoting drug abuse for Black children. How many of you would really look at your kids and be like, yeah, that's it, son. That's what we were aiming for. That's what we wanted. That's our dream. We've reached the dream. That's Black excellence, y'all. None of you. I have not seen a yes in the chat anywhere. So to me, if the answer is no, if the answer is consistently no, then why do we act like that stuff is okay? Why do we sit back and and clap for it politely? Well, because we scared to say something about it? We scared to be honest? When you scared that they're going to label you? Seriously, as a Black man, that's what happens, right? People try to label you. They try to label you in ways that are unfair. You're a sexist, sir. You're blah, blah. I'm like, well, I mean, okay, well, you're a racist. How about that? There we go. Since we're throwing around labels, you give me a label, I'm going to give you a label too. But that does not take away. You can't defend your point because you know you have none. You can't defend your point because you know you're wrong. So what do? This is just a warning for you guys. When you start speaking in a way that is not consistent with what people want to believe, they won't debate you on the point itself. None of these people felt comfortable defending some of the nonsense that they were saying from Lizzo. They just said, okay, we're just going to label him as a sexist Black man, right? And I just said, well, your labels have no power here, so you can label me all you want to, because I'll just label you back, and then we'll just be even. But at the end of the day, at some point, I would like to actually discuss the issue at hand, and that's how that's one of the little mind tricks I believe that they play on Black people. They will never debate you on the real issues. They will never really confront the racism that exists in this country. They'll never really confront what they're doing to you. They'll just find these ways to sort of contain the conversation by labeling, marginalizing, or whatever the case may be. And so this is it. This is what was on my mind today. I know we started talking about Brittney Griner and all that, but y'all know how I am. I'm just going to talk about whatever comes to mind. If you want to hear the Brittney Griner part, just go to the beginning of the video, because some of y'all are probably confused because the title's very different from where the conversation went. But I believe in intelligent conversations. I think that that's our solution. I believe that in order for us, here's the thing, everything that Black people can do, everything that we need to do, we've got everything we need. We have every single thing we need. We can accomplish anything we want in this country as a people. Our families are on point. Our children are, some of y'all's kids are ready. A lot of you understand how things are going. You've just got to have the courage to move forward without worrying about what people say. So who gives a shit if they don't like you anymore, or they get mad at you, or they say, oh, well, you're a sellout because you won't go show up and vote for nothing the way the rest of us are. So what? Let them say what they want to say. That's self-esteem. That's self-love. To me, that's true self-love. Part of what has always allowed me to say what I needed to say without worrying about the backlash. And some of y'all seen it. I get a ton of backlash online. I mean, it's pretty ferocious at times. Part of what allows me to do it is I just love myself. I love Boyce. I love Boyce and his old raggedy ass. I love Boyce even when he says something stupid. I love him even when he makes a mistake. I love him even though he ain't perfect. So when I'm committed to that love, I don't really care what you think anymore. My goal at that point is just to do the right thing based on what I believe to be true, and you can just process it however you want to process it. So be you, love you, move forward as you, and I think everything will work itself out. You got a battle to fight, and you ain't gonna win this fight by thinking like everybody else. Because half your community is blind, deaf, dumb, and crazy, and falling for the okey doke every single time. So you got to be the canary in the mine. You got to be the loud one sometimes. Sometimes you're gonna have to be the one to stand up and say something that's not popular, and it's okay. I love you. You always get support from me, even if you disagree with me. So speak your truth and don't be scared. That's my 2 cents. That's my message for today. Okay, guys, I'm about to get out of here. Love you. It was great to see you. And don't forget, the All Black National Convention happens October 28th through the 30th in Charlotte, North Carolina. The tickets are almost sold out, by the way, so you may want to get your tickets now. You can go to boycewatkins.com if you want to be a volunteer or a vendor or a sponsor or buy a pass. You can bring your children. We have a whole children's track. The All Black National Convention is for people who believe in Black wealth, who believe in Black love, who believe in Black men and Black women, who believe that Black children should be educated at the highest levels. If that is you, if you fit the description, then just go to boycewatkins.com. I put the link there for the convention. You can check it out. All right, so hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, share, subscribe. I'm out of here, guys. Please have a wonderful day. God bless you, and I'll see you soon. Take care now. Peace.